Tonight, it is Virginia Beach. We're coming to you with the worst kind of breaking news imaginable.
America is just now coming to grips with what unfolded here in the early morning hours here in Orlando. A massacre at a gay nightclub.
Lives were shattered, and yet another American town dealing with bloodshed and tears.
The deadliest mass shooting in this country in 12 days. 12 people murdered.
Be the deadliest campus shooting in U.S. history.
Sheriff here revealing the worsening toll, at least 59 now dead, more than 500 injured.
America, the number one leading country in terms of manufacturing of guns, distribution of guns, guns owned per capita, and guns used in mass violent attacks. Gun violence continues to grow and occur all across the country. We have grown to the point where a shooting seems to occur every other week, and when the headline shows up that it has occurred, no one ever really seems surprised. And although there are some people who say that the increase of guns and their availability, paired with lower restrictions, have helped to solve the problem that guns initiate, the problems of mass shootings and gun violence have continued to occur at increasing rates. America is the leading country of gun manufacturing with 120.5 guns per 100 citizens. This brings the total amount of guns in the country to be about 394,276,000 guns. This number is greater than the entire population of the United States of America. In 2018 alone, more than 40,000 people were murdered in the USA by guns, not only by massacres, but murders and suicides. These numbers continue to rise every single year, with the ease of access to guns and firearm restrictions only being subtly altered in ineffective ways that pose no threat to the ending of gun violence. School shootings are another category of massacres that many people think of and fear when regarding gun control laws. In the last 19 years, nearly 200 schools in the United States have fallen victim to shootings. Students across the nation have felt the need to speak up about gun control because of their concern for their safety at school and in public.
Everyone who has been touched by the cold grip of gun violence understands.
To get another perspective on the matter of school shootings, we asked our principal his opinion.
Hi, I'm Dave Peters, principal here at Jackson. This is my 6th year as principal.
As a principal, what's your idea of gun control in school?
As I've kind of thought about that a lot, I think the way I could answer that question is to say that having more than one individual on campus that's armed, a professional who's trained with that, I certainly know that would, from all the research and when we've talked to the law enforcement experts on this, that the more of those folks that we have on campus, the quicker they're going to be able to respond.
Where do you stand with the controversial idea that arming teachers would help lessen school shootings?
The question about whether it should be teachers or not, I don't necessarily feel like I need to weigh in on whether it should be a particular type of staff member, if that kind of thing. I think that whoever makes these decisions, it needs to be somebody that's a professional that's skilled with firearms and and tactical operations and things like that. So so typically that would be law enforcement or some other kind of private security, but to me, I can see the value in having more armed personnel.
How do you think that gun control could be changed to help protect more students and prevent future accidents?
The piece that I think I'm more concerned about right now from the school side is not just trying to prevent the how it would happen, but prevent the why it would happen, right? Mm-hmm. Because if someone didn't feel like they had the reason to need to come in and shoot people at the school and then kill themselves, or which is typically kind of what happens on that, when it happens, is that to try to take away the why, right? Make sure that everything we can possibly do here is that we have, that students, for example, feel that they have authentic relationships with adults here at school, with other students at school, that we create that culture that's inclusive and welcoming and celebrates differences that we have rather than having those separate us, dividing us and things like that.
With greater and stricter gun control laws, people with mental instability or dangerous past records will not be allowed to purchase firearms. Greater gun control laws could also warrant that a person with anyone under the age of 18 living with them who purchases a gun must be subject to hiding and securing the weapon as so their children cannot obtain and utilize the weapon. While it seems as if the gun violence occurrence is as bad as it could ever get, there are many laws already in place that keep the number of deaths as low as they possibly can. The red flag law is meant to keep guns away from those who are not in a mentally stable position to keep people out of harm. Although this law has helped, the law was passed in 2008 after the Virginia Tech massacre, and since then, many shootings have still occurred. Pre-1994, background checks were not necessary for the purchasing of a gun. However, the Brady Handgun Violence Prevention Act required background checks to be done before purchasing a firearm. People wonder how easy it really is to obtain a gun, and it really is as easy as walking into a local Walmart and showing them your ID. Of course, a form by the ATF is required, however this form really is an embarrassment to the protection of others. It asks such menial questions as, have you been convicted of felony, and have you been convicted of misdemeanor or domestic abuse? These forms could be enhanced in the future by having descriptive background checks and mental health checks. This will ensure that more dangerous people will not obtain violent weapons. In comparison to other countries, the state of guns in the United States is far worse than any other country. Other countries, such as Canada, have strict gun purchase requirements and laws in place against specific guns and gun enhancements. New Zealand have even banned guns in totality after instances of mass shootings. These bans have considerably decreased the number of deaths occurring by guns and decreased the number of mass shootings. Many people in the world believe and understand that gun control as it is right now needs to be changed to better ensure the safety of citizens and the stability of the state of protection from gun attacks and murders. Though most people believe this, there are many who think that the way that guns are available and easy to obtain are helping our country. They believe that self-defense is a means to act that is a basic right for all people. They believe that guns should be accessible to be used in cases of self-defense without restrictions and when and where you can get them.
My name is Isaac Yee. I am in 9th grade at Henry M. Jackson High School, and I am pro-Second Amendment. There should be bipartisan change that can happen between both Republicans and Democrats. One being mental health restrictions, 2, criminal background checks, and 3, if you share a same household with a person that is affected by mental health, then you should be legally obliged to lock up your weapons. Now that being said, I am Second Amendment, and the reason why I am Second Amendment is because ultimately is to protect yourself from tyranny, government tyranny. And my ancestors, they have definitely experienced government tyranny from both the Japanese and their own government. And I think ultimately guns are the way to effectively dismantle governmental tyranny.
People also stand by the case that the Constitution protects people's right to own a gun, meaning that they should be allowed to without fear of having the right threatened. If people were to take a look at the whole picture of the state of gun violence in America versus other parts of the world, they should easily be able to see that a change in gun control laws needs to happen, enforcing stricter regulations no matter their opinion, being pro-guns or anti-guns. Every day lives are lost in America. Every day a gun shoots and there's a life gone. The easy solution is speaking up. The one that will take more time is the willingness of others to listen. But it can happen. So many lives are lost by weapons that all people could easily utilize. But what if they couldn't? What if it was much harder to get the opportunity to end a life? Think of all the lives that could be saved. All the lives that could be here instead of being carried away in bags. If we want to change, we need to speak up and have our voices heard. A change is needed to save lives, and it can happen. All it really takes is changing gun control.